What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another video here in Wicked Garage. You can see in front of me I have a little bit of mess on the table from the previous Talbert trailer rebuild. We are finally getting back into the flatbed build. So before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and like the video and comment on what you think. All right, guys, so as you've seen, I put the frame rails on. These are made for 38 inches for the frame of a Ford. That's mostly 99 to 16, I believe. And depending on if it's a cab chassis, a 150 or a 250 and a 350, there's all different types of frame widths. So make sure you look that up when you're building your flatbed, or if you decide to build a flatbed. And obviously you're going off the cab and everything else. It all depends. You can be a little past the cab if you want. It's sort of like a kind of what's your style, what's your taste. So I like everything smooth or close to the cab, so it sort of like looks a lot more clean and sleek. But everything was measured out. We got our center. Obviously you've seen we messed up in the first one. That's why you always double check when you measure. And then we redid the center, did our 38 span, and then did it down there, tacked this on, made sure this was level. You got to remember that these aren't flat when they come out. They're actually on an angle. So it's not going to be perfectly flat if you just let it sit there, and your measurement's going to be off. So make sure you get a square or some type of square magnet, put that up on there, and then measure from the top, because that's where you're going to be at your at square. That's going to be your true measurement. Then obviously just check all your spacing down the line. There's going to be variations because all this kind of channel and longer stock has a little bit of a warp or like bend to it. It's with everything, it doesn't matter where you get it, but some places it's a lot less than the others. It all depends on how big the steel yard is, but these are pretty straight more or less, but there is like about an 1/8 inch difference in certain areas here and there. Nothing that's going to throw anything off. But the next step to do is to make gussets for these sides right here. Just small gussets, nothing too crazy, probably a 2x3 gusset or something. And I'm just going to do one here, one here, one there, and then we'll do one on the end, just mainly to support like this inner bracket. So if they ever decide to put a fifth wheel in, or a gooseneck, or if I'm building for a gooseneck, then I would put the supports there anyway. So it just adds some strength and rigidity to that. You can see how close it is to the frame rail itself. It just, like I said, it adds that extra stiffness and security. So we're going to put those 4 on each side after we cut them, and then we are going to weld those in, flip this over, and we're going to start our floor. All right, guys, so as you've seen, we just got done welding the top of the channel going down and getting that all done. Then we went around, we ground down all the welds on the edge. That's why we weld on the inside all the way around, and that's why we V this out as well. Just creates a deeper, stronger weld, and you don't have to worry about it. So we went around, did everything, and then we went around with the flap disc and just flap disced all the little balls and beads off of this, and then knocked down the edge that was extremely sharp that I already cut myself twice on. But now that we got that done, we are going to take down the diamond plate, and we're going to throw 2 on here, and I'll show you how to get that done. All right, guys, so you can see we got the floor on. We got the back where we want it. Don't mind the warp too much when you put these on, because obviously you're going to start clamping everything down. And then when you flip it over and it's laying down on the ground, you'll have some pressure on the bottom, or however you do it. If you have like a forklift or another table or something like that, it should put enough pressure to sort of even everything out. But this is what I was saying about 1/8 inch to 3/16 of a gap. Just enough to get, you know, a nice penetrated weld in there, and not have to worry about anything. Then we'll go on and do a stitch weld going across the beam all the way down, and that ties these together. Underneath, what we're doing is so I put this down and I marked the outside with a black marker. So now that we have where we want this part and the middle part to be, all we have to do is take that line, and that's our baseline, and then go in about 1/4 inch, I'd say, depending on how much of a weld you want. I usually do 1/4 inch. It ends up looking a lot better once you smooth it out and everything, but you want something there to grab. So once that's cut, you can see it's overhanging on the back too. We'll cut that all off, and then we will start cleaning that up, measuring out where we need the D-rings. So as you see, we had our original line. We went 1/4 inch off, measured that. I just wrote some stuff where to cut. Where is it? It's there. It's right there. You can sort of see it, but there's 2 lines there. Squiggled out the original line, so I know tomorrow not to cut that line. Not that it matters, because we can always cut again, but I don't want to do it twice. So wrote down the orientation. Make sure you double check your orientation and everything. Obviously the cut side is on the outside, so that will be pretty much your 1/4 inch weld point. Weld down, feather it out, make it look really nice, and pretty much we'll take this, put this on the forklift, and either we'll cut it on the forklift or we'll just spin this around and maybe cut it off of the table. We'll find out tomorrow. All right, guys, we got the floor all cut to the size we need. We ground all the edges, made sure everything was flat, and there was no slag left. And then we wire wheeled around the edges just so we can get any remnants off and sort of knock down any of the hard grinds. But we're gonna get this in place, and then what we're gonna do is we will measure each D-ring that will be going underneath. We'll measure the spots, put the, that's my dad over there. Say hi. Didn't hear you, but I'm sure you did. But anyway, we'll mark the center. Plasma cut all the holes for the recess. So we're gonna do one in the back, one in the front, and one in the middle. So let's do that now. All right, guys, so as you see, we got this all welded up. Everything is wire wheeled. We were not doing our finishing grind just yet. That's going to be the last thing, especially when we still have to cut this out and weld this all in. There'll be beads thrown all over. When we do cut these out and put these underneath, I like to spray the anti-spatter all over this so that it doesn't stick, like all the balls and everything don't stick in all the crevices and such. So we're going to be welding all the way around the top, and then when we flip it over, we'll be welding underneath. Probably just stitch welding it, and then when we go around with our seam sealer, we'll seam seal around that. We'll seam seal all the cracks and everything we missed, or just didn't weld, obviously. But I got these all figured out, measured out where they need to be. There's a 4-inch headache rack here, as well as the slot for the wood. So this is where was the best possible location. Same with this. This isn't probably 100% center, but it's pretty close and it's exactly where it needs to be. I like to run on the channels so it's as close as possible. Just gives it more strength and durability. Not that you're going to be strapping, 10 tons or whatever to the back of your, regular F350, but I like to overkill it so that I don't have to worry about it. And then this is obviously just 5.5 inch, 5.5 inch. We have our 2-inch slots for each side, and we have about a 1-inch gap, 7/8 gap, and yeah. All right, guys, we got the holes all cut out as you've seen. We ground everything up, made sure everything was nice and clean. I'll show you how these are going to go in. It's pretty self-explanatory. So these are going to go in from underneath. They're going to get centered out. I'm going to keep everything in one way. Obviously, this has to be centered, but you get the point. You can pretty much weld around the edge. Get that in there nice, and then when we flip it over, we'll be able to weld that. These are really nice. You can get on Amazon. They have pre-drilled holes. They're really good quality. I think they're about $56 to $60 with taxes and everything for 4 of them. There's usually a better deal, but they didn't have them. But these are actually really good. I've gotten ones that are really messed up where these are bent like almost to a point and they don't even come out. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're gonna do. Put 6 of them in. Everything is nice and clean. Put them underneath, tack them up once they're centered, and then we'll weld around after we spray some anti-spatter and pretty much flip this over where it's ready to be flipped over. Obviously, we're going to drill out the 3/4 lights. We have those also. So that is the plan in the next video, but this video is going to be over. I hope this second part has helped you, get a little further into your flatbed build or understand what's involved in everything, especially with what I do. I do it a little more time consuming. I put a little bit more detail into everything, but you can see the results are speaking for themselves and they're looking really nice. So I will see you guys in the next video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get the notifications when I post a new video. Have a good night, guys, and peace out.